he also claimed that he should be looked like Louis XIV, a feudal monarch, often symbol of dictatorship, to suppress the rise of court. However, his intention was frustrated. The court eventually granted the petition of subpoena to investigate. And how about Clinton? President Clinton also situated in high surge about American hegemony. Perhaps Yugoslavia and other Eastern Europe would be victimized. So Russia fragmented in his reign. So he is one of important historical president to uplift the status of the United States as a leading country. Politically, political hegemony was said to be erected, which is comparable with Roman Empire. So you know the word grand chessboard. Brzezinski, one of a presidential aide, says that now the world is grand chessboard of the United States power, hegemony. The United States can well manipulate how to about the specifics and details and the basic direction notwithstanding, to force the interest on jurisdictions and nations. How do you consider? Now it turned to be vitiated. You see, often political scientists would not consider unilateral hegemony of the United States. China has risen over decades, and Russia would be contested, typically in recent period. Now, President Obama announced the containment policy. It is actually one of high level of diplomatic strategy, containment policy. The term originated in response with the end of World War II. The Russian expansion was intended to be deterred over East Asian Eastern European states and Western nations in Europe. The term was reaffirmed about that updated context of political development. A militaristic confrontation in Ukraine. It is new, allowing for the advent of Cold War, new Cold War, might resurrect new structure of Cold War. So we can hardly say that unilateral power could be present in the world politics. Whose name is Joseph Bush is also one of imagery of a mighty impression, powerful impression. In his reign, we have second phase of elective war, and actually he successfully occupied and territory to democratize the nation of Iran. so sacred mission with many sacrifices, however, and actually in turn substantially the opposition of Europe. However, some pundit also pointed to the failure of aftermath. Actually, he surrendered his administration to the new presidency, Obama. We have a stream of intellectual debate about legitimacy of war-making, legitimacy of presidential exercise of war-making also. How could he avoid legitimately the congressional resolution, which should be obtained prior to his action or this, and also UN conventions pertinent to his action would be discussed. If his course of a official conduct involving Iraqi war would be legitimate in terms of international covenant or law. So domestically, constitutional challenge could well be fine. And also, the international context is highly imposing. And also, the political element might be debated. Well, it's kind of a nightmare, a long settled tradition about democratic administration. Might be abolished in some viewpoint, sure. And some scholars may coin the kind of terms, political justice. How about the human rights abuse in Iraq and what is the military camp purported to detain suspects and terrorists in some cases. So might purpose in the excuse of ground jail. Yet actually nationally sensitive an issue, which disappointed the nation as a whole. So the mindset and attitude turned to be determined. War against terrorism. That also be universalized to draw many support across global nations. However, in other light, we also see some depraved condition of a judicial or democratic justice. How do you prefer the word, political or democratic justice? Of course, that could not be straightforward. To be if we say one perspective is absolute right, then we may truncate the issue wholly. So we could be learning all this delicacies and what kind of intellectual lens could be in a different angle. What is that? So It actually a difficult question about the structure and the desired form of interaction, check and balances, and collaboration to attain national goals, and inviolable space to be preserved for human rights purpose or justice. How do you consider it to be correct? The Professor South Bay they stated it is okay to be presumptive if the judge is always good. On the other, if the president should be viewed always bad, it should be presumptive to be bad on behalf of presidents. How do we credit the judge personally in a deeper sense? The point of context often implicates personal issue, improper sexual relationship with Monica Lewinsky, John Star, and the confidential communication interchange within secret a place of a Oval Office with his aide to others. It could be seen as a private right in legal dimension or in other point of consideration. It is an important opportunity that should be allowed to promote the national strategy in some cases. It is indispensable to form public policy in the end to promote general welfare and national interest, economic, political. The expansion of the investigation followed. The law conferred broad investigative powers on staff and the other independent counsels named to investigate the oath administration, including the right to subpoena nearly anyone who might have information relevant to the particular investigation. Staff will later receive authority to conduct additional investigations, including the firing of the White House Travel Office personnel, potential political abuse of confidential FBI files, medicine guarantee, Rose law firm, Paula Jones lawsuit, and most notoriously, a possible perjury and obstruction of justice to cover President Clinton's sexual relationship with Monica Lewinsky. The risky portion of the investigation included the secret taping of conversations between Lewinsky and co-worker Linda Tripp, request by Starr to tape Lewinsky's conversations with Clinton, a request by Starr to compel secret service agents to testify about what they might have seen while guarding Clinton. With the investigation of Clinton's possible adultery, critics of Starr believed that he had crossed the line and was acting more as a political hitman than as a prosecutor. So Starr should be an inferior officer, but actually exercise the scope of imperialistic power is mightier to investigate and plenary to fire a person who actually created the atmosphere by possible injury, obstruction of justice. So how do you say correct? By saying the institution of independent counsel could well trivialize the presidency. The president is an elected official. And political accountability of Congress also should be considered. One independent dimension of political representation on behalf of presidency. So the separation of power principle could stand on that basis. The president is politically accountable for people. Is an independent counsel, so and as the position for the Paula Jones brochure, Clinton denied having sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky on the basis of the evidence provided Linda Tripp, a blue dress with Clinton semen. Canstock concluded that this sworn testimony was false and perjurious. During the deposition in the Jones case, Clinton was asked, "Have you ever had sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky as the term is defined in deposition exhibit as modified by the court?" The definition included a contact with the genitalia, analus, groin, breast, inner side, buttocks of person with an intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of that person. Any contact of genitals or anus of another person, or contact of one's genitals or anus and any part of another person's body, either directly or through clothing. So actually, it is demeaning against a woman. So kind of a element of that the national fury. And the situation actually unique, so esoteric in aspect. One might be one good opportunity about receiving the proper conduct of a public agent and the perspective about the structure and all sorts of government, presidential immunities or privileges. In contrast, we see some sovereign context of gender. The name scientist Hwang Woo-seok, he actually was fired from SMU, but he still pursues his professional career in another way, and he filed